Tech for Senior, episode 80. Yay, 80. Oh my gosh, 80. It is now October the 4th, 10-4, everyone, 10-4. And we have 84 people in our audience today. Thank you so much for coming, and a bunch over on YouTube. I always look you're probably wondering what I do when I turn my head like this. I have one of my computer monitors and setup is just behind me here, and I have the YouTube stream on that. So I'm always looking over there. So that's why I turn my head. Anyway, welcome everyone we have a big show for you today. I'm so excited. Our 80th show. I said to Hewie earlier today, 80 is exciting time, but also means we're getting a year and a half older. And Hewie reminded me that we're also getting better. So there are some positive things with age, right, Hewie?
Absolutely.
Indeed. So let me just outline what's going to happen today. Of course, we have our standard show. We're going to be doing that till the top of the hour. Those of you over on YouTube that are following, we will be stopping the YouTube feed about 10 minutes to the hour, top of the hour, and just before Ray's music. If you want to pop over to our Zoom meeting, you can participate in the Q&A. We'll be doing Q&A till about 20 minutes after the hour. Then we give everybody a bit of a rest, have a bathroom break, get up, walk around. And we have our premiere service today. What did we do a year ago? Well, so we've made, so the clip today for our premiere service will be, what is Google TV? I'm going to be talking on that. Huey's going to be talking on your neighborhoods. And then Huey's also going to be talking on Google Drive and file management for a Chromebook. And so these are all clips that were taken from episode 7, I think it was 28 or 28, wasn't it? Was it 28? I can't remember what the number is. You'll see it on the show, but it was what we did a year ago this time. So I go back and I look and I take the videos and go over them and decide what's interesting. And we make about a 20-minute clip with the idea that you can review the information, we can reuse it, and it's also available for your clubs or for you can use for your for interest in things that you want to do with it. So that will be on at 1/2 the hour. Of course, don't forget, we have our show this Thursday, Tech for Senior Live. The usual gang will be there, including Ray this week, and we'll be talking about all sorts of interesting things. Thank you very much to Roberta Witherspoon for her generous donation to our club, the Kofi Fund. That was great. Thanks so much. Now, what do we? I want to talk a little bit about the news this week. Many of you may or may not have, if you use Quicken, you will certainly have got this email from Eric Dunn, who is the president of Quicken Services, and Quicken has been sold to a new company, HIG, Aquiline, was it Aquiline Team? HIG. Anyway, it's been sold to a new holding company. So if you are a longtime Quicken user like myself, and I've been using it for probably 30 years, you will, what will this mean? And of course, Eric Dunn, the manager or the CEO, says nothing is really going to change, but we'll have to wait and see about that. This week, there were a lot of interesting things happened. And one of the interesting things that happened was Amazon released all their new gadgets because we are getting very close to Black Friday. Most of the computer sales and electronic sales occur in the next 2 months, October, November, leading up, of course, to Black Friday. And of course, Amazon has got all their gadgets out. And by far, I think, I'm going to show you a short clip of what I think is going to be the #1 runaway gadget this week. And I'm just going to show you a short clip on that, and you can have a look and see if my prediction is correct. And we'll just see if we can play this. Now, this is Astro. This is a robot. This is a lady saying, "What the heck is that?" This is her husband who's just bought this robot, and he's saying, "Well, let's have a look." And the robot's talking to them. He says, "Come with me," and he's going to take the robot, and off he goes. Wife's looking perplexed. He's bringing it up, and of course they have a little girl, and now she's talking to grandma. And grandma and her are having a talk, and then she's going to show grandma her toy, and then she's going to have a little race with the robot, and off it goes around the house playing with it. And here it's coming in, and I'm not going to go through the whole video, but this is of course I think, Bill, I think this is going to be the tech gadget of this Christmas.
I would agree. I thought you were talking about a robotic dog.
No. This is going to be.
I have not seen that. Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
Yeah, well, good luck trying to get one. Because,
$1,000.
Yeah, they're $1,000, but the money's not the issue. The pre-orders are all sold out. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to get it. It's so popular already that the pre-orders are already sold out. So,
well, that would save me $1,000.
Well, then the price jumps to $1,500.
Yeah. So, but
seriously,
I think we're looking at there's all sorts of positives. If you look at the news feeds, and we'll be talking about news feeds later on today, but if you look at this, the buzz is clearly about this product. There's of course the naysayers, and it's going to security and all sorts of issues are going to be problems, but overwhelmingly this is going to be a huge success. And whether you like it or not, it's going to be probably the most popular. I think it will be. Maybe the Google 6 phone might be, but this is definitely going to be a very popular item. So I thought I would share it with everybody. You're going to hear a clip later on in the show about Tech for Senior Live when we're talking about things, Bill. You might, because you weren't there on Thursday and didn't listen to the show, but what we're talking about is Astra. We're talking about this robot. So when you're listening to that today, that's what we're talking about. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I don't think I have a lot more to say. We will get on with Bob. Are you ready to roll?
We'll be in a second. Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending, October 1st,
we can hear, Bob. It's fine.
2021. Yep. Facebook spends $50 million on metaverse research. Facebook announced this week that it will invest $50 million in global research and partner collaboration to build a responsible foundation for what it sees as the next computing platform, the metaverse. According to the announcement, the metaverse is a set of virtual spaces where you can create and explore with other people who aren't in the same physical space as you. While many metaverse products won't be fully realized for another decade or so, Facebook says it will work with government, industry, and academia to ensure the tech is built in a way that's empowering for all, particularly in the area of economic opportunity, privacy, safety, and integrity, and equity and inclusion. Avast security evangelist Louis Carones thinks this is a step in the right direction, with new technologies and tools to communicate with others. He commented, "New challenges appear. Usually we become aware of them while they are happening, as we have seen with privacy, cyberbullying, and spread of fake news, hate speech, etc. Trying to anticipate some of those challenges beforehand and create tools to address them is a sensible approach." SonicWall patches critical SMA vulnerabilities. Internet security company SonicWall posted a security notice this week about a critical arbitrary file delete vulnerability in the SMA 100 series appliances. The Smart Mobile Access SMA series includes SMA 200, 210, 400, 410, and 500V. The flaw, when exploited, could allow an unauthorized user the ability to delete arbitrary files from an SMA 100 series appliance and potentially gain administrative access to the device. SonicWall reported there is no evidence the vulnerability has been exploited in the wild. The company also released a patch users can install to protect themselves and their files. Bloody Stealer malware attacks gaming platforms. A new malware dubbed Bloody Stealer, which can be bought on the dark web, siphons personal information from gaming platforms such as Steam, Epic, Game Store, and EA Origin. Kaspersky security researchers detected the malware targeting victims in Europe, Latin America, and the Asia-Pacific region. According to Bleeping Computer, gamers are usually targeted by threat actors with malware-laced game cheat tools. Once the system is infected, Bloody Stealer can grab cookies, passwords, forms, bank cards from browsers, system information, screenshots, certain gaming sessions, files from the desktop, and logs from the memory. Scalper bots target graphic cards and sneakers. In the top 5 scalper bots quarterly index, a tracking report that identifies the hottest products targeted by scalper bots. Bot mitigation platform Netacea reported that 110 Air Jordan Retro One High OG sneakers were the most popular item bought and scalped, sometimes fetching amounts 7 times the original price tag. The second most bought and scalped item was a PS5. Third was graphic cards suitable for gaming. Fourth was Yeezy Boost 700 MNVN sneakers. And fifth was graphic card marketed for cryptocurrency mining. On the topic of retailers, Netacea CTO Andy Still commented, in addition to supply chain issues adding to the challenges of the last 2 years, retailers increasingly face the risk of bots buying their most popular items before their customers. For more, see ZDNet. Instagram Kids hits pause. Head of Instagram Adam Mosseri posted that while the company still believes it should build Instagram Kids, it is pausing work on the social media space intended specifically for tweens. CNN Business reported that the announcement comes after lawmakers pressured Instagram to back down on the effort, and new questions arose about the impact social media photo sharing has had on teen girls. We'll use this time to work with parents, experts, and policymakers to demonstrate the value and need for this product, Mosseri wrote in an announcement. He said the company is still invested in building parental supervision tools and continuing its focus on teen safety. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. The Epic data breach is political in nature, and here's why you should care. Given the prevalence of hacking, it's concerning to see a group of hackers target an organization and its members due to their political beliefs. When our freedom of speech is attacked, we should all care. See the whole story by following the link listed below. You may also enjoy my video based on Mr. Basso's article. Again, follow the link below. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. That was great. Always learn something. Bad guys are still working at us, I see.
Unfortunately, yeah.
All right. All right. Let's see what Dewey has to say.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is IFIXIT.com or YouBreakIFix.com. What's the diff? Technology may be defined as an application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. A person who does this may be called a technologist or simply a techie. I embrace and enjoy technology. In fact, I'm always curious about things, how things work, and always have been. In the 1940s, my dad bought my mom a new upright vacuum cleaner. One day when I was around 10, I quietly took some of my dad's tools to the closet where the new vacuum cleaner was kept and began taking the motor apart. An hour later, my mom happened in to find me with motor parts strewn all around the floor. Her shriek preceded a crying meltdown as I tried to assure her, "It's okay, Mom, I can put it back together." Well, I did put it back together, and I was punished severely also. This enduring curiosity about all things prompted me to check out a recent article I saw at ifixit.com. The article was entitled Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 and Watch 4 Tear Down, Taking It Apart. Note the graphic. Before continuing, I need to have viewers understand what ifixit.com is and what it is not. iFixit.com is a wiki-based US website that furnishes free repair guides for everything, written by everyone, and so forth. It's essentially about fixing your stuff and has free illustrated step-by-step repair guides, repair forums, and a web-based store that sells tools and toolkits in the US, Canada, Australia, Europe, Germany, France, and the UK. Tools and toolkits start at $1 and go all the way up to several $100s. iFixit.com does not have repair services, and that's important to know. Its broad purpose and endeavors are best understood by visiting its website, ifixit.com. We'll go back now to the Watch 4 teardown. First, a special screwdriver costing $2 from ifixit.com is all you need to remove the 4 tri-point screws on the back of the watch. A quick pry with our $2 opening tool gets us inside. The middle photo shows the Watch 4 Classic, lower left, and the Watch 4 upper right. We also need to remove the flex cables and what seems to be a wire to measure body composition. You see the photo at the lower right. It takes some unscrewing and the use of a spudger to get the motherboards out. You see the prying at the lower left tool. A spudger costs $4 at ifixit.com. Components in the next 2 sets of photos include the Exynos W920 dual-core processor, the Samsung Shannon 915 integrated circuit, and the Broadcom BCM 43013 dual-band 802.11n Wi-Fi / Broadcom 5.0 combo integrated circuit. Again, the Watch 4 Classic is at the left and the Watch 4 is at the right in each set of graphics. The batteries are hidden under the motherboards and are removed by using a spudger. The 2 larger Galaxy Watch models have a 361 milliamp hour, 3.66 volt battery. The 2 smaller models have only a 247 milliamp hour battery. Photo at the right shows a vibration motor next to the barometric sensor and also a button flex cable with a contact plate for bioelectric impedance analysis, a function of the important bioactive sensor in the Galaxy Watch 4 series. iFixit.com notes that most Samsung Galaxy watches are screen repair friendly. However, the standard Watch 4 isn't so friendly, and the techie's use of heating and prying tools resulted in a cracked display glass and a toasted yellow AMOLED screen, as the photos show. Of course, if it's already broken and you're repairing it, there's no problem. iFixit.com's journey through 2 galaxies finished with this pile of loot as their reward. They found important repairs were relatively simple and awarded the Watch 4 models with a repairability score of 7 out of 10, with 10 being the easiest to repair number. So what is YouBreakIFix.com? It's the website of a company that describes itself as, and I quote, the nationwide leader in professional same-day electronic repairs, including iPhone, Samsung, computers, Macs, iPads, and other tablet and cell phones, close quote. Their specialties include, of course, battery and screen replacement, perhaps the most frequent types of repair. YouBreakIFix.com has roughly 650 store locations in the US, 65 in Canada. By the way, Ron, there are 2 in Vancouver, and a nearly equal number of mobile units. Here's my quick story on YouBreakIFix. In February 2020, I went to the Costco store on Sossaman Road in Mesa, Arizona, mainly to visit their cell phone kiosk, where I'd bought my Samsung Galaxy S8 phone exactly 2 years earlier. I was unhappy because the battery's power reserve seemed to have lessened fairly significantly. I went from charging once every 2 days to charging every day. By good fortune, a Samsung representative was visiting, so I confronted him directly about my S8's weakened battery. He explained Samsung's smartphone warranty, proper battery management, and also that I was beyond Samsung's 1-year battery warranty. He suggested that I might send my phone back to Samsung for analysis. Now, not wanting to be without a phone, I told him that was simply not possible. Well, in that case, he said, I suggest you taking it to the YouBreakIFix store just a mile from here on Power Road. I had never heard of YouBreakIFix. Well, I thought, well, why not? I went to the YouBreakIFix store and was greeted by a smiling young fellow. I laid my S8 phone on the counter and told him about what I thought its problem was with the battery. I laid my S8 phone on the counter and he disappeared for a few minutes to check out my phone and then reappeared to share info with me about the battery's condition and what I might expect compared to how I use the phone. He also offered a fairly reasonable price quote to replace the battery that day, in fact. I thanked him and left and decided to simply live with having to charge the battery every night and bolstering it with a quick charge while I took my daily nap. Since that visit 2 years ago to the YouBreakIFix store in Mesa, I hadn't thought about the company or the store until a week ago when I selected my Tech Talk topic for today. Last Friday, Joanne and I were invited by friends to visit their new retirement digs and have lunch. As we drove down Main Street in the Twin Cities of Minnesota suburb of Maple Grove, I glanced to the right and was astonished to see a YouBreakIFix store, the first I'd seen since the one in Mesa. Perhaps it was serendipity or just an example of the old saying, what comes around goes around. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today. And God knows I've worked so hard on this PowerPoint. I am going to stick with it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great day.
Thanks, Dewey. That was very good. I guess one of the things that while we replace cell phone batteries all the time, one of the things that is going to come up in the future, of course, is do we replace the batteries in our watches? And I guess that will certainly be something coming along as we get into the, some of these expensive watches that we have now, get into their 3-year phase and maybe need some battery replacement. Are we going to be looking or purchasing a new one, or are we going to replace the batteries? I don't know. We'll have to see. Well, what do you think, Dewey? Do you think we'll be replacing batteries in the fall in watches?
I have a good hunch it's going to happen that way.
Could be, yeah. It's sort of interesting. I know my recently had, I think when I did the swollen battery talk, I recently had the battery placed in my Pixel 3, and it was great. I mean, the company was good. It was a local company that did it, but they had it in and out the same day, and it works great, and it was no problem. So it was pretty easy to do. So that's great. Let's see, Hewie, I think you're on track for. Are you ready to roll?
I am, but before I go, before I start, I did want to mention that there an addendum to Dewey's talk is I think You Break I Fix is a great name, and they're changing it in all 650 stores. And I forgot what it's going to be called, but it's nothing like that at all. But it's going to be a company-wide name change. I just saw it in the news this past week, but I didn't take note of what it's going to be called. So on that note, I will start my. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Screen and font size, magnify, size text on the fly, and an app called Morphic. I'm Hewie Poplock. Today we're going to continue our discussion on screen and font size, and we're going to talk about magnifying your screen and then sizing it on the fly, and then we're going to show you an app called Morphic. Enjoy. You can make things larger within a browser quite easily on the fly or as you go. Here's an example. Now, one way we think that we can go bigger is by just making it full screen. Well, it'll make the pictures larger, but the print itself pretty much stays the same. But while we're in full screen mode, one of the things you can do is click on the three dots, or it may be a little bit different in your browser, but you will see that there's a way to zoom. Now, right now we're at 100%, so if we wanted to make it larger, we could click on the plus. We're at 110%, 125, 150. Let's go to 200%. Some things have dropped off on the left-hand side, but everything is larger. By holding the control key down and hitting minus, as we do, you can see a little pop-up comes up saying it's now 175. It's now at 150, 125, 110, and 100%. We can even make it smaller if we wanted to. Sometimes I do that when I want to do a screen capture and get more information in the picture that I'm doing a screen capture with. Now, when we look at File Explorer in Windows, if we do a Control Plus, there's no way to make it bigger. Last week, I showed you how to do it for the entire system. Now, there are some ways to make this bigger. Let's explore them. There are several ways in which we can make things bigger. We go into Settings, and we go into the Ease of Access, which is your accessibility. And if you remember, I showed you how to make text bigger and how to make everything bigger. But if you come down here to the magnifier, you can turn the magnifier on or off. Windows and the plus sign, that turned it on, and the Windows and Escape shuts it off. And your zoom level is set at 200%. You can change it to 300 or 400. You can change the magnifier view, and you can change the lens size. And we've got 60 by 60. When we do the Windows Plus and turn it on, it's now a bigger window. It's 60 by 60. So you can adjust the size of your magnifier. And Windows Escape turns it off. So that's one way in which you can do it. So let's go ahead and close this. We can do it with the Windows Plus. Remember, we're set at 60 by 60. We change the size of this window. But this is a nice way in which you can then look at everything on your screen at 200% or whatever percentage you wish. Do Windows Escape, and we're back here. I found an app that will help us make changes to our screen to make things easier to view on the fly. The program is called Morphic. To get to Morphic, what you're going to do is go to morphic.org. It is a free program, however, there is a paid version available as well, and we'll talk about the differences. The free version is more than adequate for most of us. You click Get Morphic, it downloads, you install it. Once installed, Morphic will start automatically. Morphic will be in your taskbar by itself. When you click on it, it will open up a taskbar here at the bottom of its own. Let's go ahead and open up something to look at, and we're going to take a look at this Microsoft Windows File Explorer window. And if you remember, we can make the fonts for the entire computer larger, but if we want to look at it on the fly, we can take the text size. It says it increases text size everywhere, makes everything on the screen larger. So if we click the plus sign, we're moving up one size, we see a very large version. If we go one more time, it makes it even larger. And if we do it one more time to make it the largest, it makes it super big. When we move our mouse off of this, we will see that we have very large text. In order to demonstrate something, or if you have eyesight issues, you can see it very large. When you hit the minus sign, it makes it one size smaller. We'll do it one more time. You can see it changes here from 3 to 2, and then we'll do it one more time, and we're back to where we started. Now remember that when you do the text size, it makes everything on the screen larger. So if we had several windows open, it'll make everything larger, and you'll have to find the window that you want to work with, and that also will be large. Now let's go ahead and go back to our same Windows File Explorer. This time, or if you remember the magnifier from last week, I talked about the Windows magnifier. If we turn it on and show it the Windows magnifier, we can make it whatever size we want in the settings of Windows. So we'd have to go in and change that. Then when we're done with it, we come down here and just click hide and it goes away. So at least you don't have to go into settings if you can't remember what the Windows Plus and the Windows Escape to turn it on, turn it off. You can do it from this Morphic taskbar. The next item on our Morphic taskbar is snip. So while you're on a screen, if you want to snip, you can just click from here. It will open it so you can do part of a screen. It is the Windows snip program, so you can do whichever one you want, but let's go ahead and do this. So we could say, okay, we want to grab this part. It has now copied it. So if we went ahead and opened up WordPad, because when I then paste into it, you can see what we just copied, and it's there. So that's the snip. Takes a picture of a selected part of your screen. You click copy, then click and drag the mouse to take the picture, paste into any document. The next item on the Morphic taskbar is read selected. Let's take a look at what we can do. Let's open up our browser. We're on a web page. We're going to highlight some text, and we're going to come down to read selected and
There's
click.
a lot that goes on behind the scenes of a movie and a lot of people who contribute to the process. It's not just the actors, but also directors, producers, and more who make the movie magic happen. Take an unfiltered look at what the sets of some of the world's most beloved films looked like between.
And we can stop it at any time, and that's the read selected. It's select text to be read, then click the play button to read it. To change the setting, right click on the button. You can go to settings, and it will change. You can change the voice and so on in the Windows settings. On the right-hand side of the Morphic taskbar is contrast and color. Under contrast, you can make the screen easier to read. To change settings, you right-click on the button, but the contrast allows you to adjust the contrast between text and its background. It also removes shading of tabs and other parts of the screen that reduce contrast. Under color, the color button turns color filters on and off that help people with color blindness see color differences more easily. Example, a color-coded chart. Users can change the filters for different types of color blindness. For the dark mode, when we click the dark mode, you will see that it will change that window to the dark mode. I personally don't like that, especially in presentations. I think it's more difficult for you to see, but while it's in the dark mode, we can change the text size, and we can continue to make it bigger in dark mode, so it would be somewhat easier to see what we're showing. Let's bring it back to the light mode, and then bring it back to the right size. You may see some green lines on the screen. I'm not sure what they are. It seems to be a problem with Morphic, or it's something I don't understand, but I don't think it's a big issue. The night mode reduces eye strain and makes it easier to fall asleep at night. The night mode, also called nighttime or night shift, reduces the blue-white light and makes your screen a little more warm and yellow. Some people feel this reduces strain on the eyes. Some feel that it makes it easier to sleep after viewing. So let's take a look at what that will do. You can see the screen changes color. There's kind of a yellowish glow to it. I'm hoping you can see that. Playing back the recording, I see that it doesn't record, but it does show up on the monitor. So I'm sorry you can't see that. At any time while we're using Morphic, if we just go to the taskbar, we click the X, the taskbar will go away. If we click it in the regular taskbar, it comes back and we can use it as we wish. I mentioned that I was going to talk about the different versions of Morphic. It's much more detailed than we really need to go through, and item by item, you can go on the website and take a look. Note that the first 5,000 people signing up for the Morphic Early Feedback Program can get the Plus subscription for Morphic free of charge for life. Morphic.org. Enjoy. I'm Hewie Poplock.
Thanks, Hewie. I expect there'll be a lot of questions about that in our question and answer. Really great, great presentation. Thanks so much. Bob, are you ready to roll?
Sir, using its Edge
Yep,
browser as your default browser. Let's talk about URLs. A URL is the address of a web page, and URL stands for Universal Resource Locator. We all use URLs. We need them, but there's a difference in how the URL is displayed. As you can see in this example, the standard URL is the whole web address. This happens to be a fairly simple one. Many of them take up lots of room. There are shortening services like Bitly that can help make this link or URL shorter, but it's still pretty convoluted. In Edge, by making a simple change, you can display that link or URL in a more user-friendly way. You certainly have to admit that this URL is a lot nicer than either of these two. Let me show you how to set it up so that you can do this on your own. Start by going to the three-dot menu, top right in your browser. Select it. When that pull-down menu comes up, go down to Settings, and once this comes up, the next thing you want to select is Share, Copy, and Paste. By default, this is what's selected. Plain text. So when you copy a URL, what you copy is what you paste. The other function in here is link. So if you select this instead of plain text, from now on, when you copy this link, it will make it more understandable. As in our example here, this address became Tech for Senior Facebook. Let me see if I can demonstrate this for you. As you see, I've made the change. So we are now using the URL copy and paste format by default. So when I select this and do a copy, easiest way is to use the shortcut keys of Control and C. Now, if I'm sending you an email and I want to paste that address in here, I just use the shortcut key of Control and V. And it's a nice, clean looking link. You can see if I hover my mouse over it, it shows you where that link takes you. If you want to allow the user to actually see what the actual link is, you can post that. by simply using the shortcut key of Control, Shift, and V. And then you get the full address of where this user-friendly link takes you. You have to admit that this is a lot more pleasing to the eye than the full URL. Give it a try. You might like using this new way of sending a URL or a link to your friends. This user-friendly link or URL.
Thanks, Bob. That was great. I do that all the time. So that's a cool feature. Like that.
Just remember, you have to use
Edge.
the Edge browser. It does not work in the other browsers.
All right.
It hopefully will one day, because it sure does make life a lot easier.
Indeed, indeed. All right, we've got to be moving along here. Now, the next phase is a segment I have for you. Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Finding the news. You know, every morning I get up early and review all the news articles, posting the interesting ones to our Facebook page. How do I do it? Let me show you. Now, you know the routine. If you like this video, please click the like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. And we will see.
Question from Dick was, how long does the battery last on that little robot?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
a good reason to buy it, just so you can test the battery.
Yeah, just do a test. Yeah.
Do a test and we can find out. Yeah.
But then in a big house, it'll get lost when the battery dies, and then you can't find it.
Yeah, it's
At least the vacuums are smart enough to return home.
Right.
You know, now if that actually was a vacuum and it vacuumed and was a robot, then that would be worthwhile. I would buy that.
Then it's
That
too
would be
high. Then it's too high.
Oh yeah, it's not going to go under the
See?
chairs. It's not
Correct.
going under the chairs. Ah,
Correct.
all right. Well, we'll see if Bill James can convince me. He'll probably come up with a bunch of ideas on why this is a great thing. Anyway, we got to talk about that. All right, let's get on to some articles. Hewie, you got the first. How did you get the first article this morning?
I was the
You
last
were
in line.
You
Yeah.
sneaky guy. You were publishing while we were talking. You were sticking them in there.
Well, no, it was an hour ago, but I was looking while I was waiting for you to come online. And this just got posted. It's a software that you put on your phone.
Yes, that's Tech for Senior Live. That's what happens on Thursday morning. There's a group of us that sit around and talk about the news articles we posted to our Facebook page the previous week. So how is this done? Well, everybody does it in a little bit different way. I'm going to show you today the way I gather the news and post it to our Facebook page. Let's have a look. Now, the demonstration today is going to be on my Windows 10 PC. I'm going to use Google News. However, I don't use my PC in the morning. I use my Chromebook. So it's upstairs, and I use the Google News app on my Chromebook. In fact, the Google News app can be used on Linux. It can be used on Apple devices or Chromebooks. It's universally available for a news feed. All right, you recognize this as my desktop. We are now in the Chrome browser, and we are going to find Google News. So let's see where it is. So if we go over to, in our Chrome browser, we'll go over to the right, and we'll see this little 9-dot menu here. We're going to click on this, and now it'll bring up all the Google services. We're going to scroll down, and here is Google News. Now, because we're going to use this a lot, I'm going to change the location, and we can just drag this up so it now is at the very top. Click on this, and this will open Google News. Now, in the Google News on the top left, you'll see there are 4 categories. There are top stories, there's For You, there's following, and saved search. It is important to know that the more you use Google News, the better it's going to select the new articles for you. Its artificial Intelligence tries to bring you stories based on your activities in the app. The way Google News sets this up, and you'll see Canada, world, your local news, business, technology, entertainment, sports, science, and health. So I'm going to choose technology. Of course, that's what we're interested in, and that's how I get my news for Tech for Senior Live. So when we click technology, this will bring up our technology, all the latest in the technology articles that have been published that day. And they are, of course, labeled. I just usually leave it on the latest because I'm interested in the latest articles that I'm following. But if you want to subcategorize, we can look at mobile, gadgets, internet, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and it keeps going along. So I leave it to latest because I want all the latest in technology for that particular day. And we'll come down now let's take a look at one specific article. All right, let's go down the news feed here. We're going to come down until I find an article that I'm interested in. An article I'm interested in is Samsung October 21 security update is rolling out now to these Galaxy devices. So this is an article by 9 to 5 Google. I really like their articles. They are pertinent, easy to read, and don't have much advertising. Now, so we can either by clicking on the article, which we will in a minute, and we can see it. Let's do that now. So we click on the article, and this brings us to actually the web page where the article is, and we can read the article and comment on it and take notes or whatever we want to do with this article. But let's come back to the news feed. And what we can do is if we look at 9 to 5, we'll see 9 to 5 Google. Let's look at these little buttons underneath here and see what happens. Well, if we click on this button, you'll see it says save for later. So if I click on this, it is now the story is saved. So if we don't have time to read the articles and you're going through a lot, we can simply save them for later. I'm going to come over to the three-dot menu here on the right. We're going to click this, and this brings up another menu. And here we can, of course, view full coverage, which we did when we looked at the original article. You can go to Google 9 to 5. If you don't like this particular story or the content, we can hide all stories from Google 9 to 5. If you like this, you can click the like, which means that you will get more stories about that content. And again, if you don't like it, you can get less. There are some news articles that I'm just not interested in, so I frequently will, I want fewer articles like that. So, but if there are articles, particularly like watches, then I will get more of those by clicking more stories like this. All right, now let's continue on with this article. I think this is an excellent article to maybe post to our Facebook page. So there is a button here in the center which indicates share. Well, let's click the share button and see what happens. Well, now we have the option of sharing this either by a link, so we can actually just create a link and copy the link into an email or add it to our website. And this is through this link, or we can share it to Facebook or Twitter. Google News makes this very easy to do, and the articles actually are formatted for Facebook. So let's see how this goes here. We're going to click the Facebook button, and this brings up another menu. And on the left side, you'll see the article. And as we come up here, it says share to newsfeed or story. So if you want to share this to your newsfeed on Facebook, that's fine. We have a Facebook page called Tech for Senior. So I'm going to click the down arrow here, And we can share it on a friend's timeline. We can share it in a group. If you're in a Facebook group, you can share it to the group. You can share it to an event coming up, or you can share it to a Facebook page that you manage, which I do. So we're going to click this button, and this is going to bring up, let's look at the Facebook pages. So one is our computer club, and the other is Tech for Seniors. So I'm going to click Tech for Senior. Now, I'm not going to comment on this, but I could, saying this is an interesting article. And then we're going to come down. We could do some of these others, but other buttons here, but I'm not. And I'm just going to post this to Facebook. So we're going to click this, and you'll see now that it is posted to Facebook. Now we could just copy the link and go over to our Facebook page and see the and copy the link in. This actually, when you're doing a lot of articles, this actually goes very quickly. Let's see what happens now. Let's go over to our Facebook page, and here you'll see the article. And I said this is an interesting article, and here it is right here on our Facebook page. That's how easy it is to copy and paste the article in there. Now, if we wanted to, we could also create a post in Facebook and simply copy and paste that link in, and it would give us the same result, but the other way of doing it is just a little bit quicker. Now we're back at our article that we just previously published to Facebook, but I want to find out what other people are thinking about this rather than just Google 9 to 5. So if we say view full coverage, this now is going to go out and it's going to find articles related to this post from other news sources. So you'll see that Tom's Guide has some information and a variety of other news sources from Twitter. All sorts of people have commented about that particular topic. So that's a very quick way of getting more news information about that specific article. That's been Finding the News with Ron Brown, Tech for Seniors. Have a great day. And oh, by the way, remember to like and subscribe. Till we meet again. Have a great day. All right. Ray, you are, I'm just going to say goodbye to our YouTube friends. You are getting ready to get going. For those of you over on YouTube, thanks so much for coming. We're going to be ending our live broadcast now. And we will, if you want to come over, we've still got room over in on our Zoom meeting for the Q&A. We'll be having that at top of the hour. Ray, go ahead.
How's that?
There you go. I think we're ready to roll.
All right, I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to use my best New York accent because we're running short on time. And actually, this clip is a little bit longer. A weekend ago, I went to the Oktoberfest. I don't know if they have those in other parts of the countries. And I never knew why it was held in September. But now I know it's actually a multi-day festival that runs into the first Sunday of October. So there was a good musician there. I'm going to talk someday about his interesting ways he plays over 950 songs using today's technology. But the final song on his performance, and he was on for several hours, was the classic American Pie by Don McLean. That came out in 1971. Now, what astonished me was all the remaining patrons, many of whom were not even born when the song was released, sang along knowing most of the words. Now, however, with this Tech for Senior group, I would guess the majority of us were around in February 1959 when the small plane crash took the lives of Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and J.P. Richardson. There are many side stories to this event, including appearing that night in Clear Lake, Iowa, at the Surf Ballroom stage. And I actually took a special trip there about in 2006, just to physically see what it looked like. And the Surf Ballroom is basically the same as it was in 1959. They've done very little to change it. Did you know that at that show was my all-time favorite singer, Dion, as well as Waylon Jennings? Both of them declined Buddy's offer for a seat on that airplane. Now, Don McLean has never revealed the meaning behind the words he wrote for his iconic song. Instead, he leaves it up to the rest of us to do the interpretation. So this YouTube clip is just that, one person's understanding of a song that also provides a visual review of its tumultuous time we somehow all managed to survive.
Amazing. Thanks, Ray. That
Yep.
was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of
great.
good memories, a lot of
Lot.
bad memories.
Yeah, a lot of memories there. All right, listen, thank you so much, everyone. This, of course, we're over a bit, but we'll move right into our question and answer. For those of you who are leaving now, we'll see you again either this Thursday or a week from now. Please remember, at the end, our premier service today will be, I will be talking on what is Google TV, probably a little dated since it's a year ago that that article was there. Dewey's going to be talking on your neighborhood and also talking on Google Drive and file management on a Chromebook. So if you're interested in those topics, those will be coming up at 1:30. I'm going to open it up now for any questions. If you just click the reactions button at the bottom and raise your hand, then you'll pop up to the top of the screen. And anything you want to talk about today that we did. Oh, well, Jim and Chris are here. Let's go with let's go. Is this a comment or question?
Really a comment. That was really great, Ray. Thanks. We saw Don McLean in Arizona just a few years ago, and that was really
Sang
cool.
that song
Sang
live.
that song.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it gets to you.
And I've always wondered about the words. Those were such poignant images.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Very good, thanks. Any other questions? Now, for sure, Morphic is an interesting. What did everyone think about Hewie's Morphic? Isn't that's a really interesting? I guess it's not an app then; it's a program, isn't it, Hewie?
No, well, yeah, it's a program, which is an app.
Right.
I did hear from the company. I sent them a note, and I'm going to be talking to the I don't know, the CEO, president of the company, or what. I'm going to be talking to him this week about a couple of things. Maybe try to get an interview with him.
Mm-hmm. Be interesting. Maybe we can have him on TFS for a little while and see what he has to say. Because I think a lot of people, when you're getting older, you're having trouble with your vision, and that certainly would be a big issue. It makes it a lot easier to magnify things, right?
Yeah, there was a
Absolutely.
question about that a couple weeks ago. I really appreciate Hewie following up on it and getting the information.
Mm-hmm. George, go ahead. George Bowden, go ahead.
Hi. We had a question from a member in our club who has got a bit of shake in her hands whether there was a speech recognition program that would work with Windows Mail. And I don't think there's anything that's sort of generic in the Windows operating system, unlike Chrome, which has that. And you can type anywhere in the Chromebook. But do you know of anything like that would work with Windows Mail?
Bill,
What is it you're trying to do?
Speech to text.
Speech to text in I guess it would be Outlook. Would it be, George?
No, she's not using Outlook. She's using Windows Mail. There is one in Outlook, and there is one in Google Chrome.
Just did a video on that. We had it on last week.
Oh,
There
okay.
certainly is. If you were using Windows 10, yes, there certainly is.
Yeah, there's
Is it a separate app or is it part of the OS?
No, it's part of Windows itself.
Okay.
Yes.
There's also Dragon Speak, which I know is used with word processing, and it's possible that would work in other applications.
Okay. Thank you.
Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask whether Dragon still worked, because I used to use it quite a bit in XP and Windows 7.
Still works.
No, okay, because I hope my old version works anyway. I really like that. I installed that that app that you're talking about. It's nice to have all those controls in one place.
Right.
I knew how to look for them.
That's right.
But having them in one place is really handy, especially
and you can add you can add websites and you can add other programs to it and make it your own as well. I did not realize that when I did the recording, and I went back, and then I started watching some of their videos. And when I heard from the company itself, I started looking into it. And yeah, you can add even a link to this program and have it a button, and it'll automatically sign you on to the Tech for Senior Zoom program.
Oh, that's cool. I could not find that upgrade that you mentioned right at the end. You know,
Yeah, it's kind of difficult, and actually I had signed up for it. They sent me, you have to register. When you do, they send you an email and then with a link, and it's supposed to work, and mine's not working, so I've got to let them know that it's still showing that I have the free version. But you can pretty much do everything in the free version anyway that you need, including not only can you make your own menu, your own bar, but you can actually create them for other people. And once they register to the program, even the free version, and you put in their address, they can get it directly. You don't have to send it to them. They actually get it from Morphic.
oh, that's cool. Well, thanks you for doing it. That's for guys like me, where you're losing your vision, it's really helpful.
I see this as being a huge thing, and thanks so much for doing it, Hewie, because I think this can be a big benefit for seniors.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
indeed.
the fella that I corresponded with and I'm going to talk to also said, you know, what more can we do for seniors? So I'll try to get some input from you after I've spoken to him, or maybe we can get him on the show.
Yeah. Well, text to speech would also be really nice, and being able to dictate into emails other than Google.
Well, what you can do with Morphic is set up a button to do that that's already in your system.
Oh, be interesting to explore. Thank you very much.
Yeah, interesting. And for those of you who are interested in news, please try out if you. I mean, I know there are many news readers out there, but Google News, of course, is on all devices. It's on your any of your phones, your Android phones, your iOS phones, and Linux, whatever device you're on. Google News is there, and it certainly does it.
One comment on that: if you're using that quick button to post to Facebook, you of course don't get to see the fact somebody's already posted that article.
Bob catches me on that all the time. I don't look at our Facebook feed all the time.
Right, he just go ahead and post and post
the articles. Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's already out there. So I mean, it's okay to have it twice, but sometimes it gets pretty redundant.
Hey, you guys all have administrator rights. You can delete. My feelings won't get hurt if you delete my phone. If you delete my posts,
I will not delete somebody else's post.
Yeah. I use a program called Feedly, and the nice thing I like about Feedly is I have the paid version. I can click on a button. It will not only send it to Facebook, but it'll also save the article to my the original article to my Evernote.
Yeah.
And otherwise, if you just click and say save it to Evernote from Feedly, you're going to have the Feedly, but I want the link from the actual article, and it will do that.
So just so everyone remembers now, all four of us work very hard at posting all these articles each day. We get some of the latest and latest of news feeds or news articles that come out. I even surprise Chris Gould sometimes. I sent her an email and say, hey, did you know this about Google Photos? And she hadn't heard of it yet because it just came out that morning on the news feed. So we do have some very interesting early articles. So if you want to pop over and have a look at our Facebook page, we always have interesting articles there that are just there, all the very interesting articles.
And you're seeing the headlines, and then you can click on it and read the actual article if you're interested. If not, you just at least know that something is said about a particular.
And it's also an easy way that you can look at news. If you're interested in news, whatever news you want, it's a very interesting way of just looking at news. So whether you want to repost it or not, it's just a good news feed to use, and it's very simple, and it's available on all devices. All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I want to thank everybody for coming, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. We will thank you. It's our 80th show today. Congratulations, everyone, for a great show. And we will see you in about 10 minutes. The premiere service will be on. If you don't know where that is, of course, on our YouTube channel. If you want to know how to get there, just go over to our website and click the button. It'll take you right to the channel, and you can listen to the premiere service that will be on starting at 10:30. Otherwise, we will see everybody either this Thursday, and Ray's going to be back again. Yay, Ray is going to be back on Thursday. We'll see Ray on Thursday, and we'll be talking about some more tech articles, and then we will be back here next Monday. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks for joining.
Stay safe.